morning. It is Tuesday morning, and I'm sitting here at my house on a rainy day. I'm going to try and get down to the shop a little later today. But before I go down there, I wanted to mention to you guys that I had a phone failure the other day. My battery went dead, and when I recharged it, my phone rebuilt from scratch for some reason. And as part of that rebuilding, it reformatted my memory card for some reason. I had about 3 weeks worth of videos on my memory card that I had not transferred to my computer yet. So 100% of that footage has been lost. Now, to be perfectly frank, there wasn't a lot that got accomplished in those 3 weeks. Continuation on the Harlem Globetrotters table as we went along. But there have been some things going on that you guys would probably be interested in. And when I get down to the shop, I'll try to do a quick review and show you where we're at and then bring you guys all back up to speed. But one of the things I wanted to show you while I was sitting here is our new boards. Now, we just had these boards built. These displays, and I don't know if you can see them if I bring it up, the lighting is going to be kind of bad. But if you can see down here, there are commas on these displays instead of the normal periods that you would have on a normal display. We found a place in China that would manufacture these for us. They are orange LEDs with a black face and a comma. Not a very easy display to find. We had to buy 1,000 of them in order to get them from this place. But they manufactured them relatively quickly, and we got them probably in a month or so after placing the order. And they were actually fairly inexpensive. Not counting shipping, they were about 35 cents a unit. $350 for 1,000 of them, something like that. I don't know the exact price. And then there was like $140 of shipping to get them shipped in because 1,000 of these displays actually weigh a bit. But I manufactured this new board to hold these. They are a totally different pinout from the old displays that we used to have. So we had to design a new board, and while we were designing this board, we made a change to it in that I decided to add a serial interface. So you can see down here, there's a couple of pins. There's an 8-pin input connector and a 4-pin output connector. Now, the input connector is power ground and the I2C line coming in. And the output connector is power ground and the I2C line going out. And then the other 4 pins are just pins to address the board. So the connector will address the board so that the boards can all be universal. So there'll be a jumper. There's 3 pins going to the 3 address lines on the serial chip and a ground pin. And by shorting out particular pins to ground, you address the board. So that's all it takes. And then there aren't any I2C terminating resistors on this board. So the very end output connector has to have the terminating resistors going to 5 volts. We actually don't know if this is going to work well in a display because it's getting a little long for an I2C line. There's probably going to be about 3 or 4 feet of cable, which is probably the outside edge of a normal I2C line. So we're going to have to play with this to see if it's going to work. Now, we didn't have a lot of call for these 7-segment displays, so I just built one board. I had a couple of mistakes on it, which I fixed, and I have some displays laying on my desk here that are running a little test that I wrote so that I could see what it did. So let me take the camera and show you those. So excuse the mess on my desk back there. These displays, because they are multiplexed, never show up well. But the display on the left is being driven by the parallel interface. The display on the right is being driven by the serial interface, and they are working fairly good. Let me stop this and change the exposure so you can see the display, the digits a little clearer, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've slowed it down. You're going to see even more flicker now probably, but at least the digits will show up. So you can see I can effectively talk to this display either serially or parallel. I believe that the serial display is just a hair dimmer than the parallel display. I don't exactly know why, but it probably has to do with just the timing it takes to send the data out serially to the unit. I'm not really sure. I can see it, but in practicality, I don't think anybody who saw these things would ever notice that there was a really much of a difference to it. So when I get down to the shop today, I'm going to take 4 of these displays and install them in the 8 Ball Deluxe table, which is what these 7-segment displays were designed for. We don't have a 6-digit one done yet. I'm about to order those, and we're probably going to order, a bunch of those because we have 1,000 displays. Mike's probably going to sell some kits of these once we get them proven to be good and working. But anyway, one of the things you guys missed because of the films that got deleted was that Mike burnt out 2 of his Alltech solenoid driver boards in the 8 Ball Deluxe table. And as it turned out, whoever built the 8 Ball Deluxe table rebuilt the 8 Ball Deluxe table sometime in the past, changed out all of the connectors. The original connectors on the solenoid driver board often burn connectors because they do suck a lot of current through them. And apparently that happened and somebody swapped out the connector. On one of the connectors, they put on a connector that had 3 extra pins. And they didn't cut them off or block them or anything, and they didn't put a key in. So when Mike installed the relay driver board in there, he plugged that cable in wrong, and it burnt up the board. And he put another board in there and plugged it in wrong and burnt up that board also. So he had 2 solenoid driver boards that he burnt up. Now Alltech, wonderful company, and if you guys aren't buying these boards, you really need to. They have a lifetime warranty. He sent them back. He offered actually to pay for them because he knew that it was his failure that caused them to burn out. And the guy said, "No, I'll replace the boards. They won't be new boards, but I will replace you with working boards." And he sent out 2 working boards, and we stuck one in, plugged the connector in right. By the way, those extra pins are gone off that connector now. We cut them off. We haven't put a key in there yet, but we are going to do that too. Actually, a whole bunch of connectors have been replaced. There's no keys in any of them. So we're going to put keys in the connectors and just make sure that this doesn't happen again. But anyway, that table is all up and running, and we can go ahead and put these displays in there and get it to look. Mike was upset that he didn't have his commas. You guys may know that the original Playboy machines, the 6-digit displays didn't put a comma in them, but the 7-digit displays did. And I don't know, maybe on newer tables they might have put commas in all of them. I don't know. But the 7 digits are really kind of hard to read without the commas in it. So adding these commas in really made a difference. Now this board has a jumper on it, and if you don't want the commas, you can cut the jumper and it'll turn the commas off. So on the 6-digit board, I'm going to do the same thing, or I did the same thing in the design. So you can run the 6-digit board like they did without a comma or with a comma. Mike's going to run commas on all of his. He just likes the commas. So that's kind of where we're at. I'll pick up the filming when I get down to the shop. Again, hopefully I'll do it today. I've got a Costco run to do today and some other stuff on the list. I got to run to the vets, and maybe if the weather clears this afternoon, I might even try to work a little bit on building a handicap ramp that my club is working on. So I got it all up in the air here, but I'll see you guys in a little while. So I am back. I have one other thing I wanted to show you guys, and that's this board right here. So this just came back from JLC PCB, and this is our new LED board. I talked to Mike about what we needed in the future for our LED boards, and we've come up with what I'm calling universal LED boards. So across the top here, this is one board with 5 LEDs. However, it can be divided into a 4 LED board and a 1 LED board, or a 3 LED board and a 2 LED board. There's just some jumpers you have to short out to make the wiring connect if you cut it. If you don't cut it, then it's a solid board. And if you can see, let me see if I can turn this over. It's kind of hard for me to see in here, but on this edge there's a stepping down of the size of the boards. All of these boards are the identical same schematic. The spacing of the LEDs is just shorter, and the board will work as a 5, a 4 and a 1, or a 3 and a 2, all of these boards. And then down at the very bottom down here, I have a bunch of single boards, but they're single boards with 2 LEDs mounted on the end. And these 2 LEDs are in parallel. They act as one LED, and it's to get more brightness primarily in the back box area where we need a little more light on the glass, and a single LED is just not lighting it up enough. So I designed this board. It's a short little tiny board. It holds 2 LEDs, a couple of caps, and that's it, and a little mounting hole to mount it. And it should, I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 30 of those on this board, and we ordered 20 of these boards. So I've got a lot of these to do. So one of the things I'm going to be doing here probably this week is populating this board, putting the connectors, the LEDs, and capacitors on here, and making a board so we can try these out. So that's another thing that has been going on, and there was some other filming about these, but that was lost also, so I wanted to show that to you guys. Well, hello there. I am down at Mike's shed. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, still raining. Didn't get to work on my ramp because it just rained all day, but anyway, I'm down here, and there's the 8 Ball Deluxe table that I'm going to put those 4 displays into. Now it's really dark in this room because one of the fluorescent light fixtures is out. So I'm going to go grab some of my filming lights and bring them in here to bring the light up, and then I'm going to come in here and take out the displays that are mounted in here. These do have, now the glass is still in here, but they do have our modified boards in here already, so all I should have to do is unscrew those, take them out. They have the new plastic brackets in there, so these new boards are the same size and should fit right in there, and then we'll turn it on and take a look at it. Okay, got a little more light in here, not a lot, but a little bit more. And you can see these 4 7-segment displays are our old yellow ones, as is the 6-digit display, but I do not have another 6-digit display that I can put in here right now. So this one's going to stay, but I'm going to just take these 4 out of here and replace them with my my new ones, and that should take just a couple seconds. So I'll just let the camera roll. I'll probably speed it up, but I'll let it roll. I just noticed something that I did not think about. I think these new 7-segment boards are the same size as the old 6-segment boards. These were actually a little bit longer, so I'm probably going to have to move this mount. So let me put one screw in, and I'll go ahead and turn the power on and put the back glass back on and see what we have to do as far as relocating this. If any of you guys have watched our previous videos, I made a little plastic adapter that showed me where these had to hook up for each of the different types of boards. So I'm not sure where this one goes. I don't have that designed for a seven-digit board yet. So let me put the back glass back on and take a look and see where we're at. Wow. This may be a little bit more of a job than I was thinking it was going to be, because it looks like those stick out a little farther for some reason. It's hard to believe that that's true, but it is. So I am actually going to have to design different brackets for this to work. That's a real bummer. Let's see what you can see in the screen here. If you look at that, there is the old display, and here's a new display. And as you can see, I've got a couple of mils difference in the thickness of the display itself, which means this is too close to the glass with these brackets on here. So that is a real bummer. But I think I'm going to stop. I called Mike. He's on his way down here, so hopefully he'll be here in a few seconds, and we can talk about how we're going to proceed with this. Okay, with Mike's help, I did get the back glass slid on there. We have a problem with this display. Now it's a problem with the connector. It's not the display, so don't worry about that little jittering around. The displays are not in the correct place, and we are going to 3D print some new brackets that give it a little more space, because these do drag across the glass when you're putting the glass in and out of it. But I just wanted to show you what this looked like. And I think it looks pretty good. It unfortunately never shows up as pretty on the filming, but this doesn't look too bad to my eyes right now, so I think you'll get a kind of an understanding of what it looks like. You can see that the yellow that's in the fifth display position here is showing up a little brighter. but this is more than adequate for a pinball game for the brightness of the displays. So we are happy with that, and we just need to get the displays centered because they're not, and get them cleaned up and get the new brackets on there. Okay. With Mike's help, we did manage to get the back glass on, like I told you guys earlier. And we noticed that the displays I had put on weren't quite lined up. So we lined up the displays and we put some black foam tape around them so you couldn't see the green board behind it. And that is the end result. It's actually great just like it is. We are going to 3D print some thinner brackets. About 2 mils thinner than the current ones, just to get those displays away from the glass, but they actually do fit in there okay. Yeah, we're done with that. We need to still work on this problem, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the wiring of these lights, but there are parallel wires that run through here and all the way to there, and there is one single strobe line that's unique to each of the displays that pick that display. So either there's a connector bad on this unit, or that one individual line is for some reason mucked up, but I do not think that's the case. So I'll have to take a look at that connector and see if I can figure out what's wrong with it, or maybe we'll buy another one and replace that or something. So yeah, not quite exactly sure what we're going to do with that yet, but we have to figure out what's causing that blinking. But it's definitely not the display. The old display that was in here was doing the exact same thing. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do for today. I've done what I wanted to do. I'm very happy with the way this looks. And yeah, so with that, I wish you guys a good week. Bye-bye.